Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker. And listen, if you've always scrolled by my videos, this is one you're gonna wanna see, okay? I'm not just saying that to get the minutes or the viewership, but you're gonna wanna see this one. So this one I wanna really talk about, should you partner with somebody in buying real estate? I made a mistake. Okay, so this is when I was young and naive, buying my first property. I don't want to get into the details of what happened over here, but basically I was really excited about buying this place. I have a vision of long-term hold, as I always talk about. I've always had the plan of investing for a long period of time. And honestly, what my long period of time means when I invest in real estate, I'm not selling, okay? Something's really got to make me want to sell, but otherwise I'm not really selling, okay? So I made a mistake at that point. From that perspective, from that point onwards, I should say, is that I really qualify people that I'm going to partner up with in real estate. So back to my original question, should you partner with somebody? Maybe, but these are the things I go by first. First, I want to know about this person's mindset. I got to know them. I just can't meet them randomly. I got to know who these people are. I got to know how they think, how they behave and stuff like that, because that's really going to dictate what type of an investor this is going to be, what type of relationship I'm going to have with these people as well. This is very, very, very important to me. The other thing also is that I need to understand where these people are at financially, and not just where they are at financially, but what their spending habits also look like. Like, what do they spend money on? And is it reasonable? And yes, I'm making a lot of judgments over here. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this when you're investing with somebody. You got to know the whole story about what you're getting yourself into, especially if you have a very specific goal about what you're trying to accomplish, okay? And then the other thing also is that I want to know about their existing portfolio. Do they actually own other real estate right now? How do they handle it? When do they buy it? Did they get a good deal on it? Like, I really want to start to understand. Listen, all of these things you're going to be able to understand somewhat of, depending on what level you are at. Like, the level that I am at right now compared to like an investor that I'm working with right now, like, I can't even ask them anything. Do you know what I mean? Because like, I just know them from like the last 20 years. We haven't really done a business deal. We did one about 3-4 years ago. But even at that point, I'm like a small little dude compared to who these guys are, and I already know that. In fact, they were questioning me to see what my long-term position was. And this is how I kind of learn about how to qualify people when you're going to think about partnering with them as well. So these are very important things. So we're here doing this video because I did move forward with a partnership and we bought a property. As you can see from my screen, we got a stellar deal on this townhouse in Oshawa. It was $263,000 when we went to close. We did a little bit of upgrades, nothing too serious. We closed December 2016. Our down payment was $52,600, which is 20%. And we had an interest rate of 2.29%, which was decent at that time. Basically, the mortgage amount, including the interest, was $810. Property tax was $280. Insurance was about $50. So we were in for this property for about $1,140 a month, which is great. At the time when we bought this property, I estimated the rent to be somewhere around like $1,250, $1,300. So we were expecting to be positive cash flow on it, but very close to maybe not being positive depending on how the market went. But we rented out the property in less than 2 months. And we rented it out for $1,550. So basically, it cost us $1,140 if you remember. We rented for $1,550, and our positive cash flow was $410. If you guys go and evaluate a property right now and put 20% down on it, the better chance is that you're going to probably feed this property some money. So this was a unicorn already the way that it was. Okay, $410 a month positive cash flow, and we had good tenant in there as well. Turns out that after a year, these people wanted to kind of move out. They gave us a 60 days notice. They didn't want to stay on longer than a year. Sometimes people would have been like, oh no, we got to get, I was excited. I was so excited. I was like, the rents are up. I'm watching the area. I'm going to get another $100, $150, maybe $200 more a month for this property. Like, people want to be here. I was very jacked up about it, but my partner wanted to sell. Oh, I can't even imagine. I can't even tell you how I felt at that point. I was not excited about this moment at all. But again, it is personal, so I don't want to get into it too much. It is what it is. It happened. My partner wanted to sell. Short of it is, we sold the property. I could have kept the property on my own, but again, it's personal, so I don't want to get into it. And I just knew I kind of made a mistake at that point, and I just wanted to kind of wash my hands of it and not think about it again. And this is kind of my way of making this video, of just bottling it up in this video and not thinking about it again. But instead of selling the property, we should have actually had a longer term thinking, which is what I wanted to do with this property. We should have thought about this for the long run, okay? When you get into investment property, you got to think of yourself as an entrepreneur and investor. You got to be thinking about the bigger picture over here, which 50% of us were not. So if we, if we project this out to today's numbers, this is what it's going to look like. FYI, the property right now today is worth $700,000, and this legit number, I can share that data. So in 6 years of owning this property over here, here's what the numbers would have been. Our mortgage would have been $179,000 on this property. Over the average of 6 years, the rent was kind of like $1,550 to $2,200. So we take an average of that, it's about $1,875 a month. Forget about the $1,875. Let's just call it $1,800 throughout. Okay, so that means in 6 years, our total rent generated would have been about $130,000. Our expenses with our mortgage, insurance, and property tax would have been about $82,000. It still means that we would have had somewhere around $47,500 left over. Even if you say that 60% of that money, even with your positive cash flow, which I think is a huge amount, 60% you put into personal taxes because you got to pay some taxes on the personal property rent that you're collecting. You had some maintenance, property tax went up a little bit. So even if you're that generous and say you're going to put 60% of it into expenses and you only get the other 40%, which is $19,000, your mortgage balance at the end of all of this would have been $160,000, okay? And guys, this is only 6 years of owning this property, okay? So your balance would have been $160,000. You would have paid off this property. Not even you, somebody else paying the rent would have paid this property off by $100,000 in 6 years. I think it's quite impressive. Basically, like I mentioned, the property is worth $700,000 right now, and our mortgage would have been $160,000. Right now, at this point, we would have had $540,000 of equity in this property should we had maintained it, okay? Now, if we got to this point, and if you really wanted to get your money out, I suggest option 1. So option 1, actually, no, this is option, I was getting ahead of myself. That was option 2. Option 1 actually would have been to hold on to the property and not do anything with it. So if you didn't do anything with it and you basically got a new mortgage for $160,000 for it, considering all your expenses and everything else like that, your payments would have been under $1,000. You would have rented this property out for $2,200 right now. So your positive cash flow in the bank every month after expenses, you would have had over $1,200. You would have retained this property, you would have owned this property, and you're getting $1,200 a month in your bank account after all of your expenses. I think it's huge. Option 2 would have been like, okay, I need money, whether I want to invest further, I want to buy a Porsche, whatever you want to do with the money, that's on you, right? But the thing is, if you took $300,000 out of this property right now, $300,000 out, your new mortgage balance would have been $460,000. Your payment would have been $1,765. Monthly property tax is $350, $50 in insurance. Your total cost is $2,135, okay? Rent's $2,200. So after taking $300,000 out of this property, keeping the property, you're still getting paid $65 a month, positive cash flow. Like, to me, this is a no-brainer, okay? This is the way that it should have transpired. Even if you're in a partnership, like, if you had waited this long, you take the $300,000 out, and say you have a difference in opinion of what you want to do with this money. You take $150,000, the other person takes $150,000. You want to invest your money further, go ahead. The other person wants to do whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? But guess what? You're taking this money out tax-free and you can do whatever you want to do with it at that point, okay? You still retain the property, plus you're positive on it. So unfortunately, we sold the property, and the math behind that works like this. We sold that property for $425,000, okay? Our mortgage at the time was $205,000. We had put in roughly about $60,000 into this property. So we total netted about $160,000 less commissions on the sale. So roughly we ended up with about $70,000 each, or somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe a little bit less, $65,000 each, or it was something like that, okay? If compared to that, we would have actually had $480,000 if we sold that property. Even if we decided to sell in 6 years, instead of getting that $160,000, we would have had $480,000 for that property. So that would have been a massive deal for that property. And the difference is about $320,000 in the amount of time that we sold it. It roughly worked out to about $80,000 a year extra if we had kept that property. And I found this quote, and I think it's so true. If you guys listen to me talk, and if you guys watch my videos, you know I'm all about long-term hold on real estate, okay? Up and down, I don't care. Just hold on to it. I think it's a smart move. Great investing requires a lot of delayed gratification. Not only do I believe in real estate for this, but generally in life, like decisions that you're going to make and stuff like that, if you just kind of keep moving forward and you delay what you want to kind of get, usually it ends up turning out to being a better situation when you do actually get it. All right, guys, I hope you guys found this informational if you guys are thinking about partnering up with somebody in real estate. If you guys want to know more about my deal or have a question that you guys want to ask me personally, feel free to send me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, like this video, share it, leave me your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, remember one thing, get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.